Hello friends, I am Jyotirvid Pavan Kumar. This time we are meeting on my workbench. Electronics has been my hobby since long. I've decided to create some videos um, describing how to set up a lab and how to create interesting electronics and electrical projects. So if you have plenty of time, if you are a retired person, or you want to take it as a hobby, my videos will help you. My videos will also benefit students who need to create interesting projects. Through my videos, you will learn how to use discarded items lying around the house and create new projects, interesting projects. So it is going to be quite interesting. All my videos do not assume any prior knowledge of electronics. So you will learn as you see my videos, create projects. You need only common sense and average intelligence to follow all this, and I will try to give you all the required information so that you learn also. So it is going to be interesting. In my this first video, let me tell you what type of tools you require. You will need a long nose plier, a wire cutter cum stripper. This is quite useful. You can cut the wires, fine wires, and also you can remove insulation from insulated wires, hookup wires. Then you will also need a small hacksaw with blade for cutting any item, small item. A mains voltage tester, AC tester, is also quite handy, quite useful around the house. So you can purchase one. Then you need screwdrivers. See, you may need different types of screwdrivers, different sizes of screwdrivers, but if for general purpose, I recommend use this. In India, it is Taparia 803, but you can use different make. Now this one is double-sided. On one side, the bit is flat bit for ordinary screws like this, and the other side is for Phillips head screws. So you can use either side, and this is quite useful. Then a small knife, it is quite handy with the changeable blades, steel blades. You can use it for cutting different things, but you have to be very careful. You may not you may injure your fingers, you have to be careful. Then a small tweezer, steel tweezer, for holding small parts, lifting or holding small parts. Well, in addition to this, for building projects, you will need general purpose PCB, printed circuit board. Now this is copper clad with the stripes. There are different types of general purpose PCBs available in the market, so you can purchase as you like. I'm using this one for some projects. It has got stripes with holes drilled. Each stripe is separate, isolated from the other. Then you need a multimeter. This is a multimeter I'm using with probes. This is useful for measuring voltages, resistance values, or seeing the continuity on some circuit. You can use this. Then a soldering iron. I'm using this one. There are different kinds available. So you use a soldering iron for soldering the components on the PCB. I'll show you how as we proceed. Then along with the soldering iron, you need solder wire. It should be 60-40, 10 lead, good quality solder wire so that joints are uh, electrically good, bright joints. Other things we can add on as we move. This watchmaker's eyepiece is quite useful. You can um, use it for viewing small parts. Sometimes on the capacitors, the values written are very fine, and for a person like me with poor eyesight, this is quite useful. So now in every household, some electronic items are lying which are not working, and people usually throw them. So I recommend, if you are following electronics as a hobby, before throwing any item, electronic item or electrical item, you can remove the necessary useful parts. Like this one was a tape recorder which is not working anymore. So before throwing it, I have removed the motor. This is a 12-volt motor, and I will show you how we can create some project out of this. So different PCBs, like this PCB I took out from a discarded inverter. There are plenty of relays, they're quite expensive. We will show you how to use these in some projects. Many resistors, diodes, transistors, electrolytic capacitors, so these are all useful. Now in this my first video, I will like to describe how you can make a LED lamp working from mains AC voltage, and later on we will use that to make a table lamp for your study. Now before I proceed, let me tell you a little bit about different kinds of lamps. Everybody is familiar with this kind of lamp, which is known as incandescent lamp. There is a filament, you can't see in this one because it is milky, otherwise there is a filament, we are all familiar. This is called incandescent lamp. This used to be there in every household. Then came the fluorescent lamps, tube lights, 2 feet long, 4 feet long, and after that we came across CFLs, compact fluorescent lamps like this, different shapes, different sizes, different wattages. And nowadays we have LED lamps. Now let me give you some useful information. See, this incandescent lamp, the average expected life is 1200 hours of continuous use. With a CFL, average life is 8000 hours, quite long. And with the LED lamp, average lifespan is 50,000 hours. So LED lamps last quite long. Also, if you look at the brightness, the um, level of illumination, which is measured in lumens, for just for example, to get brightness of about 800 lumens, you need an incandescent lamp of 60 watt, which will consume a lot of electricity. And for same 800 lumens of brightness, you will need only 13 to 15 watts of CFL. So that is about 1/4 the power consumed by incandescent lamp. But with LED lamp, you will be surprised. In order to get the same illumination, that is about 800 lumens, you need only 6 to 8 watt of lamp. So which is 1/10 the power consumed by incandescent lamp. So LED lamps are quite good. Also, it is interesting to know, we all hear about global warming, and carbon dioxide emissions play an important role in that. Um, So if we talk about carbon dioxide emission, incandescent lamp emits maximum amount of carbon dioxide, and the CFL emits only 1/4 of that amount. But the LED lamp, it is wonderful, it emits only 1/10 the carbon dioxide emission emitted by incandescent lamp. So if you are using LED lamps, you are not contributing to global warming. So it's a good point. Now, if you have any discarded or fused CFL lying around the house, then instead of throwing it, you can break it. But be careful, it is glass. You have to do it outside. Break this and you can then open it up like this. I've opened one, and take out the PCB. There are plenty of components on it. The wires are there. You can cut the wires. And take out the PCB with, there are plenty of components on it. Capacitors, polyester capacitors, electrolytic capacitors, then diodes. These all can be used, and you can make LED lamp out of these components, which will run on mains voltage. So from this CFL circuit, I have already removed some capacitors. This is 10, this is 473, right? It's a bit low, 0.047 microfarad. Now this one is 104K. 104K means 0.1 microfarad. This is 400 volt, 104, which means 0.1 microfarad, and the working voltage is 400 volt. So you can use this. I'm using this to run an LED from mains voltage. You can use remove the these diodes, silicon diodes, 1N400 series, and 4 of these you require to build a LED lamp circuit. And so your CFLs will be useful. Now, for making an LED circuit running from mains, you will need a general purpose board like this with the, so I'm using one with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stripes, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes. 6 holes on one side and 8 stripes. So cut a piece like this, and then you can solder all the components. I have already made one. I have soldered all the components. You can plan where to put various components, and then you can make the joints. So I will give you some hints. Like here, I have put a capacitor. One lead is soldered here, another is soldered here. So in between, you will need to cut the track so that the both poles of the capacitor are not shorted. For that, you can use a knife to cut the track. So you can plan your circuit with just common sense, and you can build this on this PCB, general purpose PCB, this size. Put the LED on this. Later on, I will show you how to convert this into a table lamp. Now, I'll show you the first of all the schematic diagram, the circuit diagram I'm using. This is the mains AC voltage coming here. Now, mains AC voltage here in India is 230 volt. Okay. We need to reduce this voltage. So in order to reduce this voltage in a cheap way, we will use a capacitor. You may be wondering how a capacitor can reduce voltage. A capacitor has internal resistance, which is known as capacitive reactance, which depends upon its value, and this will be used, but the capacitor has to be 400 volt at least. Working voltage should be 400 volt. So we will put a capacitor here. I am using in this circuit 104K, which is 0.1 microfarad. You can use higher values, 0.22 or 0.47, and they will give you a slightly more voltage. Now, in parallel with the capacitor, we put a resistance, and I am putting a resistance of 1 mega ohm, right? This resistance will discharge the capacitor. When the supply is turned off, the charge will not stay on the capacitor because it can then give you a shock even after the supply is switched off. So if you put a resistor across it, when the supply is switched off, this resistor will discharge the charge on the capacitor. Then we use a bridge rectifier using 4 silicon diodes in order to convert the AC voltage into DC voltage, like this. So this line shows the cathode, the negative of the diode, and this triangle, this side, is the anode. So we are connecting anode of one diode and cathode of one diode to the AC, and cathode of one diode and anode of another diode to another terminal of input AC, 230 volt. This is positive, this is negative. Now between this point and this point we will get reduced DC voltage. So we put a capacitor here, electrolytic capacitor, which also I have removed from a CFL. This is 100 microfarad, 25 volt, positive on this side, and then a resistance to drop voltage for the LED, and then we put a LED anode and cathode on the negative side. This is LED, light emitting diode, and for safety of the LED, when the supply is switched off, if you get reverse voltage, then the LED should not be damaged. So you can put another diode, silicon diode, reverse biased, with cathode on the positive side and anode on the negative side. This is another diode. So this is LED lamp. This will glow from mains voltage, 230 volt. If in the part of the world where you are living they use 110 volts, then you can increase the capacitance to say 0.47 microfarad in order to get more brightness from the LED. Or you can reduce this resistance, which is limiting the current passing through the LED. In my circuit I am getting about 4 volts DC here and about 3 volts DC on the anode of the LED. I am using 330 ohm resistance. You can reduce this value in order to get more brightness. So you can use this resistance from 47 ohm to anything 330 ohm. So this is the schematic. You can note down. Now on this PCB you can plan and solder all the parts. I have already done this. Now I will connect, but I recommend that before you connect it to the supply you must recheck that you have put all the components in the right place, made joints at the right place, and you have um, taken care of so that there are no shorts, otherwise your circuit will blow off. So after taking, and you need to be very careful while working with mains voltages. So now we will solder a mains cable which is here. I put a plug on one side, 2-pin plug. So I will solder the wires to the PCB. There is a soldering iron. You can keep the bit of the soldering iron clean and shining by wiping it occasionally on a wet sponge. Here's a solder wire. So I again remind you that you must check and be sure that the joints are okay before connecting to the mains. And now we connect it to the mains, and be careful, do not touch the exposed part. Now, and it glows, so it is working. So you get LED lamp which is working from mains voltage. You can increase the brightness in two ways. By increasing the capacitance, I am using 0.1 microfarad. You can use 0.22 or 0.47 microfarad. And another way is to reduce the series resistance which is limiting the current. This one I'm using 330 ohm. You can use 100 ohm, 47 ohm, try different values, and but not less than say about 22 ohm. It should be there. Depends upon the voltage you are getting. If you have increased the capacitance, then be careful. Measure the voltage here. If it is more than 6 volt, then you don't decrease the resistance value below 100 ohms. Well, you can experiment and find out, but be careful. Connect to the mains only when you are sure the circuit is wired correctly. Now you can use the multimeter. I'll show you. You can purchase a multimeter. There are different models available at different prices. Now this one is quite cheap, around $10, and this is good quality. Now if I measure the voltage, I'm putting it the pointer at 20 volt DC. So be sure that you're connecting the probes at the right place. You can learn gradually. And if we measure the voltage, now voltage across the LED, I'm getting 3.05. You can use backlight also to have good visibility. So the voltage is around across the LED, it is 3.05 volt. I hope you like this video. So you can later on in another video I will explain how you can convert this into a table lamp, which will be useful. Thank you for watching.